Good evening. An 18-year-old is dead following a two-vehicle crash near Turtleford. The accident happened early yesterday morning north of Highway 3 on the east side of Turtle Lake. The man was taken to Turtleford Hospital but died upon arrival. The RCMP is continuing to investigate. And that fatal crash comes just as the long weekend, last weekend of summer gets underway. Drivers can expect an increased police presence on the road as they remind motorists to slow down and buckle up. RCMP on both sides of the border will be cracking down on dangerous drivers. And for those traveling in Alberta, the second phase of the province's new drunk driving legislation comes into effect today.
Obviously, the most important is don't drink and drive. That's a theme that I think travels through the entire year, not just long weekends.
Drivers should exercise patience with extra volume on the road and construction delays.
Be aware that people are going to be, there's going to be a higher volume of traffic on the road. There will be more people, finally coming back from summer vacation or trying to get away for that last period of time. And just be cognizant of the fact that you're going to have more traffic. You're going to have to be a little bit more patient in some circumstances or some locations.
The September long weekend is traditionally one of the busiest for area highways. #1 singles, Juno Award winner and Canadian Idol judge are just a few of the accolades on Sass Jordan's long and impressive resume. But as Clayton Brown explains, the Canadian rock star is adding another major accomplishment to that list, and it's all thanks to Four Wing.
It was a big day for Sass Jordan and members at Four Wing. The Canadian singer and songwriter was sworn in as the honorary colonel for the 417 Squadron.
Which is one of the biggest honors of my life ever, to be involved with people with this kind of dedication. It's an extremely inspiring and wonderful thing. I'm very, very excited to be here.
Oh, this is so exciting for the Wing. She's just a great personality. She's a celebrity, and it brings a lot of attention to Four Wing in that sense. So the fact that her personality and what she brings is going to be awesome.
Jordan was part of a big ceremony which not only celebrated the investiture of Four Wing's newest member, but also bid farewell to the previous honorary colonel, Jack Van Norman.
He did a tremendous job. It's always sad because he is a friend to Four Wing. He's a friend to 417, so to see him go, we're sad, but he's always be a friend.
Many may think the honorary colonel is just a figurehead position, but it's not a job to be taken lightly.
They advocate for us. They get to understand what we do, and they're able to bridge that to other Canadians which we can't reach.
I really want to bring their stories to the public so that they can put a human face on these people, because they are humans, and they're actually extra special in a lot of ways because of the sacrifices that they make for us.
At Four Wing Cold Lake, Clayton Brown, Newcap News.
Meantime, Lloydminster's very first barrier-free park opened to the public today, and despite our gloomy weather, it was a popular attraction for the neighborhood kids. Elise Cox has more.
This park may look like any other, but it's been built keeping everyone in mind.
This is going to allow individuals who don't have mobility like you and I. It's going to allow them access to a park where they can play interactively. So it's spectacular.
Mom Lindsay McMillan says not only is it great for the community, but her kids are enjoying breaking in the new equipment.
I'm glad that we have this here. It's definitely going to be it's going to go to a lot of use. A lot of kids are going to really enjoy it, I think, and it'll be busy all the time, I'm sure.
However, she does have a few concerns with some areas of the playground.
I did notice that, because it is up so high, there's the definite potential for a child to fall and possibly get hurt.
And some aspects of the park aren't quite barrier-free yet. One lip poses a problem for wheelchairs as well as unfinished landscaping.
But if they were to finish it off and, make it a little bit more safer for the children, that would definitely be a big plus.
The city was responsible for the construction of the playground equipment, and Lakeland College will now be in charge of finishing up the landscaping to make it completely accessible to those with mobility issues. Elise Cox, Newcap News.
So the Bobcats, the players only have 2 more games to impress the coaching staff in the hopes of cracking the team's roster. Now the Cats are in Kindersley tonight to close out their back-to-back series with the Klippers. Now the game gets underway in a little more than half an hour. Now this is the team's 2nd game in as many nights. And in fact, the Cats are back in action tomorrow night, which means they will play 3 games in 3 nights. Meanwhile, last night, the Bobcats were taking on those Klippers at the Civic Center. Bobcats not messing around. Just 20 seconds in, Patrick Martins will snap one by Julian Favreau. Lloyd up 1-0. Then shorthanded Coleman Foisey will pick up the loose puck, and somehow it gets by Favreau. It's 2-0 Cats. Kindersley on another power play, and they make a mess out of it again. Martins picks off the pass and roofs it to give the home side a 3-goal lead. Now, Klippers would get it back. Eric Shidnick at the circle goes blocker side on Kyle Baumgartner. Now it's a 3-1 game. Now, still in the first, Reed Murray is allowed to walk it right into the slot and rips the bullet home. Bobcats up 4-1 after 20. Now, more the same in the second. Lucas Bench turns and fires it by Favreau. It's 5-1 at this point. They have 3 more and go on for the convincing 8-1 win. Now, one of the things that impressed Bobcats coach Ryan Parent was the team's toughness so far in the preseason.
I think we've got a good compete level. I mean, you know, that's what we're looking for, is guys who compete all the time. And, you know, it's just going to get tougher from here in.
Now, one of the guys that really stood out in last night's tilt was forward Colton Anderson. The 18-year-old impressed the coach with this fight and his overall play.
It wasn't just for the fighting that I think Colton played well. I mean, he made simple, good plays, effective plays offensively and defensively, and that's what will ultimately you know get you a spot here, and that's what will keep your spot.
Now, on a side note, there were 14 penalties handed out in last night's game. Well, moving on to the gridiron now. Week 1 of the Wheatland Football League got underway last night as the defending champions Holy Rosary Raiders look to continue their winning ways against the Wainwright Commandos. Now, 9 seconds of the first quarter, Raiders inside the 5. Colton Hippie throws to Matt Chapelski, who fights his way past the goal line at 7-0 Raiders. Now, early in the second, Raiders on the 1. Hippie hands it off to Bray Josu, and he's in for the easy 6. Raiders up 14-0. Now, Holy's next possession, Carl Teledetsky will air one up for Cade Teledetsky. The Teledetsky special, giving the Raiders a 21-0 lead. Now, still in the second, Hippie goes on the air attack and finds Zach DeSantic in coverage. He takes it to the house. Home side up 28-0 at the half. Now, 35-6 in the fourth, Evan Rossett will put his head down and charge his way into the end zone as the Raiders open up the season with a 42-6 win.
We played pretty good, but we'd like to do a bit more in the running game. You know, our running game wasn't as good as we thought it would be today, but our passing game was better than we expected.
We got the job done. We had a real hard time running the ball, which we have to fix like immediately. Throwing the ball, we had a little more luck, and we had 5 grade 10 score touchdowns, 4 in the air, 1 on the ground. So that's one really big positive, I guess.
So Holy Rosary continuing their winning ways. That's not quite the case with the Lloydminster Composite Barons in their season opener. In fact, it's probably a game the Barons would like to forget. They were absolutely demolished by the St. Paul Lions by a score of 75-23. But the season is young. The boys will have 6 more games to avenge last night's loss.